We welcome head-to-head walleye angler Joe Okada to the Sports Couch today. Joe, appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. How you doing today?
Not too bad, Craig. How are you?
We are great and looking forward to learning a lot about you today. We're going to start in the fishing world. How did you get interested in fishing? Did you have some guidance? And we're kind of looking for an earliest fishing memory.
Earliest fishing memory goes back to before we even had reels on our rod. It was an old 3 or 4 piece bamboo pole with some thick yellow line attached to the tip, and a chartreuse and orange two-tone bobber and a worm. And I just vividly remember feeling that fish tug on that rod, and the energy that transmits up the rod and into you has never left me ever since. So many people can relate to that exact same feeling. I must have been 6 or slightly less than that with Dad and Grandpa, just playing around on the dock and going out of Grandpa's boat whenever we could. But once that bug was seeded into me, it's never left, and I really hope it never does.
Yeah, always great when it's connected to dad and grandpa as well. Some great family memories. You have to love that. Were they big fishermen?
My grandpa loved to fish. Dad, he loves to fish too. But if you put it side by side with a game of golf, I could probably see my dad wanting to pick up the clubs. But Dad being a great dad, he saw my fixation with fishing, and he helped nurture that love for fishing by just giving me all those opportunities to go, whether it was renting a boat, him and me, or borrowing Grandpa's boat, or eventually fishing tournaments with me, just to kind of grow through that process. He was nothing but peer support to see it through. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. All right, I have to ask. I have a question about partners and head to head, and
Yeah.
Joe is fishing solo this year. We just got through the first head to head event, and I'm going to preface this. I am very much a novice fisherman. I'm learning as I go. I'm surrounded by fishing people all over the place here, and I just got to know, Joe, why are you flying solo in the head to head league?
It's head to head's fault. I mean, back in 2021, when they did the PWS for the year, I got to experience one-on-one competition. And what I found throughout the year was my decision making changed, my mentality in the boat, the way I did things, prepared, tried to execute things during competition. The whole mindset shifted, and it worked. And the way my brain works, it really did great. And I had one of the best years I've ever had, fishing competitively. And it's been a struggle to try to find that again since that went away. And then when Kyle called me to see if I was interested in fishing again this year, one of the first questions I asked him was, well, do I have to have a partner? Because I want to work through a season again, to try to find whatever mindset or whatever made things tick the way they did that year. I want to find that again. And for some people, that means, fishing, competing alone. And uh, it's nothing against partners. I have some of my almost all my best friends, have competed with me in tournaments together, and we have a blast. And the energy is good, and feed off each other very well. But when it comes to making a decision, sometimes when you're teeter-tottering on what your gut just told you, you also subconsciously weigh in what is your partner potentially thinking, or how would they perceive your next move. And before you even take the few seconds to go through that process on how that interaction might go, you should already be moving with your first instinctual decision, whatever your gut told you in that moment. Don't have to bounce it off anybody. You get to go into your own little tunnel and just hyper focus for those few hours to try to get to where you want to be. And for some reason, I really enjoy, the challenges and the, the good things that come along with that. And someday I hope to see a circuit where the entire field is one on one again, because that's where that's where I really enjoy it for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even watching that first event, your boat is set up meticulously. It's like so and I think it has to be. You're you're at a disadvantage from my perspective. From my perspective, it's like you're at a disadvantage. There's two people on that boat. They can do things twice as fast. How are we going to overcome those odds this year, Joe? Because you are quite the fisherman. I continue to hear how great Joe Okada is as a fisherman,
Well,
and you're facing an uphill climb this year.
it's and that's okay. And if it doesn't pan out, if it doesn't turn into a championship win, I'm totally okay with that.
Okay.
As long as when I'm driving home after an event, I want to just be satisfied that I played that day and prepared for that day as best as I could. And like what you said, my boat's set up. Before a tournament, you actually kind of go through a few little meditations to work your way through the boat, so you're so fluent in the workflow, and you know where every swivel and every rod and everything is, so that you don't even stop and think about what you're accessing where. It just you just know everything about what you're going to potentially need, or what's accessible to you, and how to and just stay as efficient as possible. And and as many disadvantages might come with not having a wingman to keep things moving and to beef up productivity during certain times. There's also certain times where I might have a slight advantage sometimes too, as far as my movements on the water, or just going at my own pace and not worrying about the guy that's with me, and how my boat movements or whatever are affecting them. So it's a give and take. But at the end of the day, I just like competing, against myself and the
Yeah.
fish, and it's super enjoyable. However it turns out.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be all on you. You win, you lose, and
That's
it's going
right.
to be your decision making and your changes while you're on the water. You said it perfectly. Like you don't get to have someone second guess you. You don't have they can't question you, and you just have to be like supremely confident in your choices, which I love. I mean, it's going to make great television this year, and I can't wait to see the season unfold. It's going to be a lot of fun. You kind of started to touch on my next question already. Do you have any pre-match rituals? Are you a superstitious guy heading into an event? What are some things that you do?
Some things that I do, I have a good luck charm that I take with me every time, and it's growing with every new kid or whatever my wife puts on there. I
Yes.
I keep it close to me, and it's getting kind of bulky, and it jingles a lot. So sometimes, even when you're having a harder day, as you jump up from the bow to the back of the boat, you hear the jingle, and it can reset your mind. But other than that, I just love when I'm almost as much as a tournament fishing itself. I really enjoy the few nights prior to the tournament, where it's late at night, it's quiet, no one's talking to you, and you just get to really zone in on what's about to happen, and you just sit and visualize the day play out and everything that might come with it. And that's honestly my favorite part about fishing in general, is the few nights leading up to your trip.
Yeah, you hear a lot of athletes in other sports do that exact same thing. Visualize what's about to take place and kind of put themselves out there in that situation before it even happens.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
If you could pick one sponsor, call it a dream sponsor that you would represent, who would you pick and why?
I'd have to say I've already got it. I when I first started getting nicer boats, and worked my way up from what I had. They've had a Yamaha engine on it, and I ended up building a relationship with someone at Yamaha. His name was Dave, and he was very well connected in the industry, and through his contacts and through many years of building a relationship up with him, so much more than a sponsorship has come into play. I ended up building a career off of the people that he introduced me with, and growing skill sets that I can now support my family with. And so what that, you know, aside from just being able to run an awesome product and having great people at the company that believe in wanting to support me and vice versa, those early years where he could have easily moved on to someone that was more established, or maybe had more potential, or whatever he saw in them. He decided to give me a few opportunities to prove myself to him and his peers that he introduced me to. And to this day, pretty much everything that's in place in my day-to-day life it can stem back to that time when we were building that up. So I feel like I already have that one secured, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, it makes you want to represent that brand to the best of your ability at that point too. So, sounds like a great relationship, and really happy for you. That's fantastic. Um, so my boss, he lived in the tournament fishing world. You do a bunch of tournament fishing and other fishing. He witnessed a devastating event. A team was bringing their tournament bag in, and as they were transferring it from boat to shore, the whole bag fell in the water. Lost their whole bag for the day. Have you had anything devastating like that happen to you, or have you witnessed anything like that? Just looking for a fun fishing story, you know?
I guarantee when we're done with this interview, I'll think of 7 of them.
Yeah, for sure.
I just there's been there's been a few moments, actually, even on that year with head to head in 2021. There was a couple that I one in particular that for one of the first times prior to the event, I even called my wife, leading up to it, saying, I don't know how I can lose this one. I have this super weird feeling in my gut that it's going to go. And then when it all started to play out throughout the week, I just couldn't believe how it was actually manifesting into almost a win. And then where I'm at right now, my one of my bosses here, Josh Blosser, actually ended up beating me in that. But that having a few nail biters like that throughout their career was pretty memorable, where you just almost get it done and doesn't quite seal the deal. But I think there's good things in that too, which pushes you to try even harder next time. So
Yeah, I was just about to say, do you take anything from those tough losses? Do you learn anything? Do you get better from them?
You take way more good things away from a loss than you do just winning, because then you just won. But if you didn't, what could you have done? And then it's time to go to work.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is the person who's impacted your life the most outside of fishing?
Oh, my parents, for sure. But I've also been able to surround myself with dynamite fishermen. Most of them, especially when I was younger, I'd say 15 to 20, my early 20s, I had a very solid group of unbelievable, passionate fishermen that were older than me, but we were friends beyond fishing, and still are. Um, but I got to see people that were well established in life, and got to see how they balanced their fishing with their families and everything. But I'd say my fishing friends and my parents, no doubt, were shaped me during important years to see where this whole thing would go.
Yeah, definitely. What is the best moment of your life outside of fishing?
Um, a lot of them. I would say, um, obviously, the birth of my 2 kids was pretty important. um, and then the day I got to marry my wife, Jamie. Those were really special days.
You're a good
So,
man.
but I also in an inside of fishing, I'd have to say it goes back to 2012 when Dad and I, after many years of fishing a lot of tournaments together, finally got to win one together. And um and actually my Dave from Yamaha was actually at that event, and we all got to stand on stage, when during that final weigh-in. And so that I'd have to say, inside of fishing, that's probably the absolutely the coolest moment that I've got to experience so far.
Yeah, what a great moment. Joe,
Yeah, man.
how old are your kids?
1 in 5.
1 and 5.
Yep.
Any dreams of fishing in the future with either of them?
Well, the 1-year-old Evan will definitely be a fisherman. He's got fishing games at home. He loves it's Velcro, so but
Yep.
he's Velcro snagging fish left and right. And I've got a few fish mounted downstairs where he pounds on the door to go downstairs for one reason. We do a lap and have to go and touch the eyes and the
Oh,
gills and
nice.
the fins of every fish. Excuse me. And he just gets, it's like he's seeing him for the first time, and he's just saying more, more shit. He just wants to see more fish all day. And if he gets that excited about a stuffed fish on the wall, once he starts seeing them flopping on the boat, I know he's in.
Has he been on a boat ride yet?
Yeah, but he hasn't taken to boat rides like his older sister has. I don't
Sure.
know. I guess my boat's just too fast for him right now, too loud.
Yeah.
But he'll get over it. We're going to make sure he gets over it.
Yeah. Or else you're going to be doing a lot of fishing from shore, it sounds like.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. Uh, what is your motivation to be successful? Are you a financially driven guy? Do you like the trophies, the accolades? What drives you to be successful?
It's changed over time. From the days when I used to just read the magazines and see all my walleye heroes in it. A big motivator was to start performing well enough in tournaments where I, earned my heroes' respect over at some point. That was something that was really important to me. I don't know why, but it was. I wanted them to think or believe that I belonged, competing with that kind of talent that they had. And it's kind of changed over time. I realized it was more. I just like to. I like to, reflect back on what I'm learning, and seeing a curve, a good learning curve that I'm still progressing. And there's been some new technology that's come out in the last few years that I've had to rededicate a lot of time to relearning a lot of things. And that process has been, that's what's shown me that that's been the most motivating and enjoyable part of this whole deal, is that you're never done learning, and there's so much room for improvement. And as much information as you can extract from online, there's still no substitute to seeing it through time on the water. And so that's still more important to me than anything, is just constantly trying to improve everything.
Back to your original thought. Did you feel like you were successful in earning their respect and like going head to head with these guys? Were you elevated to be among the elite with your peers? Did you feel
I've
that
I've
way?
I've had a few of them come up to me on shore at shows or whatever, and say some really nice, genuine things. And
There you go.
so that's cool,
Yeah.
and that means a lot. But what, but then, like we were just talking about, I, the level of satisfaction is even more enhanced when you just focus on improving yourself and not comparing yourself or hoping for anyone else's approval. Just trying to do your own thing and get better through your own time that you're dedicating to whatever you're trying to improve on. And that's my biggest driver now, is
Yeah.
just poking holes in my game and trying to figure out how I can improve. And there's lots of them still. So
It's a puzzle. It's a
it
puzzle,
is,
Joe.
man.
Figure those out.
It is.
So we're going to have young and old watching this, and people that are just trying to crack into the sport of fishing. What's the best advice you can give someone who is either looking to become a tournament fisherman or even someone just beginning the sport of fishing?
Make sure you cement your love for fishing first before you pursue any paths that could lead to, you know, monetary gain. People want to chase the trophies and the potential earnings that come along with a successful career, but it's just a career at that point if ultimately you don't have that deep rooted love for just fishing. All of this could go away tomorrow and I'll still find myself on the water just trying to catch a fish. And because that's honestly it's weird if what most of my tournament fishing friends realize that they're doing is using tournaments almost as an excuse to be able to hyper focus on the task at hand, which is the competitive spirit and tournament fishing. But they're just fishermen and they just want to go fishing. And with or without tournaments and without the lights shining on you or potential deals that might come along that could improve you financially or whatever, before worrying about any of that, you just got to know that you're only really doing this because you love fishing that much, and spending an extra few years working through the foundation so that everything is super solid before you try to jump into making it something else is very important, because when all that's gone and you just need the fishing to be there for you. So, and that could be with anything that you're fascinated with in life.
Yeah, it's a little easier when you really thoroughly enjoy what you're doing and actually love it.
That's it.
For sure. Outside of fishing and hunting, what are some hobbies that you enjoy doing?
I don't have many. My free time isn't as plentiful as it used to be. So again, when the kids are asleep or I have some time at home alone, I'm in the shed working through things. Make the better that I can be prepared off the water. It helps make up for some of the time that I'm not able to spend on the water anymore. And I even though I can't maintain as dedicated of a balance at this moment in time with the two young ones, as much as I can't dedicate quite as much as I used to, I still try to make up for it by just thinking through things more and trying to be even more prepared than I was before. So those are my hobbies, I guess.
It's a common theme amongst you anglers, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
You all seem to really thoroughly love fishing to the core.
You have to.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Probably flying, so that no matter how big the waves are, I could just still get from point A to point B in one piece. Just kidding.
And what a trip it'd be to fly! I'll tell you that.
It would be just to
Fun.
skim right over the top of the
Yes.
5-footers and still get to your fishing spot. No, I don't know. I don't know. That'd be a fun question to ponder. But I think I got what I got to work with, and it is what it is.
There you go. All right. You're stranded. You're alone. Call it deserted island, cold, wherever you land up. But you're alone. You can bring 3 items. What do you bring in?
On an island.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
You can be on an island or in the Arctic, wherever you want to get stranded.
Yeah.
I'll give you that
I'd have to
leeway.
be stranded. As long as I'm stranded near a body of water, then I have to have a fishing rod,
Okay.
probably with a hard plastic lure, so that I could go through multiple fish for a long period of time.
All right, we'll call that 1 item.
Okay, thanks. Because that
Yep.
could be broken down into many. I think I'd be pretty good with that, actually. That'd be about. I could figure it else, Craig. I could figure the rest out from there. But you give me my one tool, and I can make do for the day.
Now, here's some. Are you able to start a fire with no help? Like if
Oh,
you got,
fire.
if,
Yeah, I got to
yeah,
cook
yeah.
the fish.
Unless you're eating them raw, which
Well,
that's
I
some
do.
people's cup of
It is,
tea.
that is my second favorite food to eat. So, um, but yeah, you're right. Something to start fire, and probably something to provide shelter. Thanks for the help there, Craig.
Hey, I'm happy to guide you. Now you're safe when you get stranded alone.
That's right.
Uh, if you can pick one actor to play you in a role about your life, what actor are you picking?
Hmm. Dude, I don't know. We don't even watch TV at home hardly. I don't even know who the good actors are these days. Um, I'm so sorry. I'm failing at at
That's
these
hey,
very simple questions.
it's
Um,
okay.
but no, the only time the TV goes on is when we need Bluey or something on to pacify the kids while we're
Ah,
making dinner.
I'm gonna tell you, man. Bluey is one of the greatest shows ever
You know
created.
what?
I'm a
You're
fan.
I, as I watch it, I see me in the dad a lot of times.
Yeah.
I totally
Yes.
do.
And
And then
that's high praise because he's fantastic.
so no, that's a solid show. It gets
Yes.
my blessing on TV. So
You got it. All right. Let's plan your perfect meal. It can be as many courses as you want. What are you eating and what are you drinking?
it'd be a surf and turf. It'd be a nice, perfectly cooked ribeye, complemented with some walleye nuggets, and I'm in heaven. That's all I need.
Okay.
Um, how about you?
Oh, if I could plan, it would be. I'm a big like Mexican. I love tacos. You give me tacos are like the greatest vessel ever because you can put whatever you want in them, right?
You and my wife would get along real well.
Oh, fantastic! And does she make really good tacos at home?
No, but we've got a great Mexican joint not too far
Yes.
away. It's a couple times a month at least. So
Yeah, there you go. That's a fantastic date night.
that's
Awesome.
right.
Are you drinking anything special with your meal?
No, not really. I actually, um, I keep it pretty simple. Just some electrolyte water to keep me going and keep the cramps away,
Yeah,
and I'm good to go.
there you go. All right, you can bring three people to this dinner. They can be with us or have passed already. Who are you bringing and why are you bringing those three people?
I think I just my layup answer is my parents and my wife. I think I think those are pretty much my dinner pals, anyways. Whenever we do
Yeah,
have get-togethers, so, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
yeah, nothing wrong with bringing the three most important people. I mean, that's not a wrong answer.
They, those guys have been. It's not always easy to throw unwavering support at a guy that just wants to fish all the time, and they do it. No, they've done it. No questions asked since I've said I've loved to fish. So I owe them everything.
It sounds like you were raised by two fantastic people. That's what parents should do, fully support
Right.
their kids and yeah, I love that. Well, you're kind of putting a cramp on my next set of questions, but I'm going to shoot my
Sorry,
shot
Craig.
anyway. Uh quick answers, favorite movie.
Oh,
Something along your life must have stuck. What do you got? A
yeah.
favorite?
I'd have to say the aliens probably. I mean, the
Old
quadrilogy was
school.
in my on my shelf forever.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, that one's good. But as the further along we go in life here, it shows that the Terminator and the Matrix weren't too far off, were they?
Right, right. Yeah, I
And those are
totally
pretty good
agree.
ones too.
Favorite TV show ever?
Oh man, I watched a lot of Jimmy Houston back in the day. Every Saturday, I don't think I missed hardly any Saturdays back when I was little, and it was
There you
Jimmy
go.
Houston. Yeah,
Stuck with you.
he
All right.
did.
And favorite band or artist, music wise?
I don't know. I kind of just listen to everything. Man, I don't know. I don't have a favorite.
Just well-rounded.
Yeah.
Is there like
Yeah.
a genre that you prefer?
No, not
No,
really.
just everything.
Everything goes. Yeah.
All
Kind of
right.
just whatever you're in the mood for while you're tying knots in the boat. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Man, are they? I have to be one of the lamest answers to most of these questions that you've ever interviewed, and I
You're
apologize.
not. Don't worry.
That's
Don't.
see,
Don't worry.
you ask me fishing geek questions, and I can do this forever. But you ask me what do I like to watch on TV, and my mind just goes blank.
I told you we're pulling the curtain back on Joe Okada here, folks. And we're learning a little bit that he's a fishing aholic here, which is
Totally.
all right. All right, last question. You've survived thus far, Joe. Congrats. Who will be the number 1 seed in this year's head-to-head Walleye League? The 1 seed has become really important this year. You get the bye. You're already in the playoffs. You advance a round. You get that ever impressive check for the first round. Call your shot. Who's going to be the number 1 seed?
I'd go with Eric actually. There's a lot of great anglers fishing it, but I've watched Eric the last couple of years, and he has latched on. He has some really good things going for him, and he's an animal, and he's going to be super hard to beat. I think Winnebago and Green Bay both match up for him great, and he's not going to miss much. And so if I had to put money on one team, it'd be Eric's team. So pretty impressive what he's done in such a short amount of time. Honestly, he's probably one of the best walleye anglers in the game right now. So
I'm new to his game, but he was a monster in event 1. Yeah, it's going to be if he keeps that going, it's going to be a chase for everyone. This year.
Well, we got to relocate him away from Green Bay for a few months.
Yeah.
In his backyard the whole time. We got to start spending a little more time out here.
Find that deserted island and put him out there and see what he catches there for sure.
But he's done so well, and his demeanor and he's just a good dude too. So I'm aside from just calling him for talent wise, he's got my pick just because I like him. He's great.
That helps, it helps to be likable for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. It was a lot of fun on my end. I hope they weren't too awful questions coming from me. I appreciate the answers. And again, appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with us. We look forward to watching you all head-to-head season. And best of luck. We wish you the best of luck this season and looking forward to watching your upcoming matchups.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the call, Craig. And maybe I'll be chatting with you later.
Yeah, it was my pleasure for sure. That's Joe Okada, head-to-head angler. Catch him all season long right here on Fix.